We're zoomed out. Can you zoom me back in? Oh, welcome to the PYRESWAP show, everyone. We're always learning here at the PYRESWAP show how to do our job, and if we could just okay. So you're gonna want to actually make it more like the whiteboard's completely in the shot, and you want to zoom out a little bit. There you go. See, that's perfect. That's perfect. Welcome everyone to the PYRESWAP show. So glad to have you guys with us. Are you guys as excited as we are? Okay, hang on. Let me turn the mood lighting on. Hang on. We're always looking for room to improve here at the PYRESWAP show, and can you guys see me and or hear me? There we go. Damn, see what that does? Doesn't that just make everything better? Guys, would you agree that like you put those floodlights on, those colored floodlights on, and the show just is better? Can you guys hear me? Fantastic. Anyways, you guys, super exciting stuff. And first of all, I agree, Trigger. I agree. And like arguably, I think now doing the blue and the red is like the perfect contrast, especially when you wear the Mandelbrot pattern shirt and stuff like that. I think it just fits. Fantastic. Thank you guys so much, everybody chiming in on Twitter and or Twitch and or Kick and or wherever the fuck else we stream. And today, everybody, I think that I was doing a little bit of a quiz earlier, and I just want to ask you guys, like let me see who I'm even asking. Did we not ping for this event launch? Okay, no big deal. I think yesterday's show went a little long, so today we'll go a little short. And what I was going to ask was what part of yesterday's show everyone remembers today. That was what I was going to ask. But I think if I'm only talking to Pega and Trigger and maybe Kia Dezo, I've already asked this. Anyways, for anybody who's just tuning in now because of maybe they're watching the recording, the point I was trying to make is that people are more likely to remember the story you told. And I was going to go on a tangent a little bit and talk about The Big Short as a movie, which is a great example of kind of talking about the same stuff that I talk about, but using storytelling to teach it, which I think is what helps people like it, if that makes sense. Now, additionally, did anybody have any questions about that? I'm assuming I'm talking to like, we're still just getting. Okay, so can you guys see the video in Discord? Is there video in Discord?
Yep.
There is?
I see it. See it streaming the same way it was just streaming.
Okay. Okay, there is video in Discord? Okay, fantastic. All right, well, if everybody here today remembers what I talked about yesterday as far as the storytelling goes, I don't need to keep beating that to death. I guess what I'm going to do on this show, to be real quick, is I'm going to do the how to tell when to sell links. I'm going to drop those. And I know that Kiedezo is waiting on me to talk to send him a message. So I'm going to, probably we're going to finish the show early to do that. But before that happens, I think there's something that I need to explain about me. And this is something that I don't know if it's intuitive to everybody. I'm going to explain the natural path of motivation for human beings. Anybody who doesn't really have any sort of self-awareness, they're going to follow a certain path, which is basically away from pain and toward pleasure. Does that make sense? Away from pain and toward pleasure. Does everyone understand what I mean by this? Okay. Now, this right here is your natural state. This is your natural programming. So, quite often, the way you make decisions is aligned with this. But if you actually want to do something with your life that is remarkable, you can't make your decisions this way. You have to kind of operate under a different type of thinking. And you have to be able to think about weakness and how to go away from weakness and how to go towards strength. So on this journey we're on, which you can call PYRESWAP right now, right? Perhaps it's a longer and broader and larger journey than even that. On this journey we're on, I feel that I've underserved people by not explaining this simple idea. I think when I describe it with these 4 words and these arrows, it makes a lot of sense. But we can't win if I make decisions about fleeing pain and moving towards pleasure. I think that when people in crypto, they're invested in something, they think that they're kind of like a consumer, or they have like a consumer attitude. Does that make sense? And their concerns are driven by this. But they're the buyer. Does that make sense? They're the buyer. When you're the seller, or when should I say you're the vendor, or when you're the producer, or not the consumer, you have to operate under this paradigm. So just because I feel pain doesn't mean that moving away from pain is the path towards strength. Does that make sense to you guys? It's almost like this is a different dimension in this. Do you guys understand? Almost like it's a different axis. Now, sometimes moving away from pain and moving towards strength is the same thing, but other times it's not. And I have to, when I make decisions, not think about, am I fleeing pain and pursuing pleasure, but am I fleeing weakness and pursuing strength? Does that make sense? When you look for a shortcut, you are in fact being driven by your pain. Does that make sense? When people are looking for like a band-aid solution, they're being driven away from pain. But the fact of the matter is that in order for you to do something that's not animalistic with your life, you have to be self-aware of the way you make decisions, so you can make more decisions like this as opposed to like this. Am I making sense today?
Yeah.
That's exactly correct, Pega. What a great allegory. Lifting weights and exercising is not meant to be a pleasurable process. What you end up liking out of it is what you gain from the pain, right? There's a rhyme, no pain, no gain, as it were. I actually did lift weights today, a little bit early this morning, because I basically have to do it to keep mitochondrial energy levels up. I can't wait till I can eat more and work out more. We're so close. We're so close to being able to. The less of a bottleneck I am, the more I'll be able to invest in my own energy and health, which then gets the fee fed back into the project, if that makes sense. But yes, literally that. Does that make sense? If you, in fact, only chase your indulgence and your own comfort, you're going to be as weak as it fucking gets. Does that make sense? You're going to be as weak as it gets. And this is why the majority of people think like this, and they stay in an animalistic state. And the minority of people think like this. And this minority ends up with all the strength. Fuck. And you know what? This majority doesn't even end up with the pleasure. I don't even know how to describe it. This is like the biggest scam in the world. And at the same time, it's like, this is what there will always be. This is what there will always be. Granted, I'm also trying to get out of the pain eventually, because there will be nothing more pleasurable to me than demonstrating the strength of this project at scale. But in order for me to earn that pleasure, I effectively have to pay the price in pain. Just because I don't complain as much as other people doesn't mean my pain is less severe. The fact of the matter is that people won't follow you when you complain, because anybody who's looking to follow in the first place is trying to get away from pain. So if you sound like you're in pain, they don't follow you. Does that make sense? Yeah, you know, I don't actually own a couch in this house. Yeah, it's truly, we're truly psychopaths here in a good way. Yeah. This right here is the dining room of this house. The production set is the living room. And there is no couch. Yep, it is just tables and desks and this little kiosk here. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Eventually, though, we'll have to scale up this operation into something that probably will end up having couches and sofas, but not at the level of priority that an average... If you want to achieve things that average people don't achieve, you have to prioritize things that average people don't prioritize. I don't know if that makes sense. For most of 2025, I'm going to be fucking pissing content all over the internet. I'm literally going to be deluging the internet with content. I'm probably going to have the Pyre producer here literally follow me around with a camera everywhere like I'm Ty fucking Lopez or something. Does that make sense? Yeah, we're going to be dumping out so much content. We're going to crash the fucking servers at AWS. Okay, guys? That's the goal. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. Okay. Well, anyways, let's see. Still quite the intimate crowd today. So if nobody has any questions about that, talked about the value of storytelling. Oh, I see Seabiscuit is here. Seabiscuit, since you're here, I have a question for you. Are you on the chat or are you just listening today? Okay. Seabiscuit, did you watch the show yesterday? The PYRESWAP show? In pieces. What would you say, in your opinion, is was the most memorable part? Okay, look at that. Okay. That was what I was going to ask. What was the most memorable part of it? And you actually just volunteered that. Yeah. Again, because I wrote that with like a homework prompt. So, by the way, Seabiscuit, when I tell that story for real, it's actually going to start off on the day Terra Luna collapsed. Because the way you make a story exciting is you actually start off in the middle and you make it like at the very, very high drama moment of the story. And then you like switch into the backstory that builds up to that. So like first, like the first few sentences are like describing the day Terra Luna collapsed, right? But then we go back to like a month before. But yeah, anyways, yeah, that will be the least memorable story going forward, the one you heard yesterday. But the point of it is, I told that story yesterday, assuming we would have a larger crowd today, because we had a very large crowd yesterday. And the point was, besides the fact that I was dressed in a wizard costume, I was going to ask what was the most memorable part of yesterday's show. And then most people said the story. Most people. And the whole point of it was the parts that were emotive were the most memorable. The emotive parts were memorable. And when we do this show and we don't really have emotive content, it is not always memorable. Does that make sense to you guys? So as we get more and more content focused, we'll be doing things. I think that I might be telling a story every fucking show, to be honest. I might have a lot of these stories memorized. I might have some of them, a continuous work in progress. But at least that way, there will be a higher quality of content. Now, other than that, okay, that's it. I'm going to now post the how to tell when to sell links on the, right now. I don't know. I'm going to just do it. Oh, sorry. Actually, hang on. If I could have my screen shared, Mr. Producer. Yeah, let me, okay, I realize. Okay, I'm still logged in. Thank you. Can I get a screen share, sir? All right. So here we are. Okay. There's a very big opportunity right now. Meme coins are still a tiny part of what the fuck are you talking about? A generational repricing event, is that all? This should be a okay, this is the perfect time. Okay, I'm gonna do it, okay? I normally wouldn't do it unless it mentions a certain coin. But There we go. Okay. Bitcoin entering thrill. Mags. Okay, let me. This is pretty funny. How to make money with meme coins. Sell them and buy Ethereum. What a great answer. What a great Alessio post. Fuck, man. Okay. Okay. Here, I'll respond to this one. Actually, you know what? No, he's fucking he's content farming. Or sorry, he's engagement farming. Okay, render chart. Let's take a look. All right. How old is this? 13 hours? Okay. All right. They keep giving me that one person. Okay, Arthur Hayes. Let's see. 3 million worth of E5 for grabs, you naughty bitches. Okay, well, this was 17 hours ago by Arthur Hayes. Let's see what he. Okay. By the way, guys, we're going to do ad spend on how to tell when to sell. We're going to probably run ads on it for about a week. I haven't figured out the configuration for these ads yet, but the point being here is, I don't know if you guys know this, but this particular website has gotten so much more traffic than, let's just say that certain live streams that we did a few months ago. Does that make sense? We actually have like a measurable uptick in traffic, a measurable uptick in people joining Discord as well. That's with Twitter suppressing and censoring the link most of the time, okay? So I know that most people aren't excited about how to tell when to sell, but like we now actually have data about us being able to tap into the Twitter funnel. And the thing about how to tell when to sell is that the more people that lose money on meme coins, the larger our possible audience becomes. Because the more people who lose money on meme coins, they're now looking more and more for the answer of how to tell when to sell. Does that make sense? Meme cult, thank you, whoever that is. Thank you to this other guy with 20,000 followers. Okay, cool. That's great. Well, anyways, the point being, and you don't gotta screen share anymore. You can bring me back to the. Put me on main screen, Commander. Anyways, so I dropped the link to talk about storytelling. I think none of you guys have any questions. I might go over this again like next Wisdom Wednesday. I think this is an important distinction to make, and I think more people can understand it. I think this is on the whiteboard. It makes a lot of sense too. I might just make a diagram for this later, but yeah, like for those of you who don't know, which might just be, hang on, let me see, is it just Seabiscuit? Oh, there's actually a few people here now. Okay, well, all right. So for Alessio and Seabiscuit, literally earlier today, I found out about this Facebook group of 34,000 people that I'm going to configure into a funnel for us later in 2025. Not later, but like in Q1. So I was secretly showing other nuclear options for marketing internally today in the circus meeting. So I want you to know that right now I'm working on a website called LearnPyreswap.com. LearnPyreswap.com is basically a sequence of story videos that through storytelling, explain the value of PYRESWAP. Does that make sense? It brings people on a journey that doesn't bore them to death with economics. Very bullish about this site. We have 2 funnels. How to tell when to sell is our cold traffic funnel. LearnPyreswap.com is our warm traffic funnel. More on that later. But yes, I am only gaining power and resources to knock this project to the fucking moon. Just to be brutally clear. Yeah, I literally earlier this morning figured out a way that I can leverage one of the biggest things that I have access to in the entire world of tech and crypto to actually promote PYRESWAP. And I didn't know the right way to go about it before. I don't even want to, by the way. I don't even want to, because that right there, the right answer is to just go towards strength and not think about leaving pain. But let's put it this way, you guys. Let's say that the marketing campaign we go to ends up shooting us to a $100 million market cap across the GPSC, right? That's not that crazy, right? If we've got 35 tokens, it just means we have like 3 million market cap each, right? Right, you guys? Right? Okay, technically the bond coin wouldn't be that big, but if you can get the peg coins to a $10 million market cap each, then you can get to a 9-figure market cap. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Arguably, I have no idea how the ratio works on that, but let me think about that. Hang on a second. While I'm up here, right, let me write this out. Let's say we're just talking about 2 ohm, 2 share, 2 bond, and Pyre Phantom, right? So if we assume that we have 9 of these, right? Right, so without any new chains being added, and let's say we have like 9 of these, right? We have 9 of these. We have, arguably because of US dibs, the whole share coin thing is weird, but let's just say that we have 9 of this as well for the fucking sake of easy math. And for the fucking bond coin, let's say we have 9 of them as well. Also, that's weird because of US dibs. But anyways, for making the math as easy as possible, let's assume we have 9 of these, and then we have like 3 of these, right? Do you guys understand why I'm doing these multipliers times 9 and times 3? Do you guys understand? No, okay. So we have 9. Okay, if you add Ribs Money, Affogato Finance, and Hoggy Finance inside the GPSC, while remaining on the 3 chains we're on, we have 9 total peg coins, roughly. We have 9 total share coins, roughly. We have 9 total bond tokens, roughly. But you would still only have the 3 Pyre Gas tokens. Does everyone understand me now? Yep. Okay, so legitimately, we know that, we don't know this actually, but generally speaking, theoretically, this token has to be like the size of 2 ohm, 3 ohm, and Z ohm. Does that make sense? It needs to be big enough where Metatrage ends up bringing 2 ohm up faster than it brings Pyre Phantom down. Does that make sense? Like, Pyre Phantom needs to be strong enough to take the blows of 2 ohm, 3 ohm, and Z ohm simultaneously. Making sense, everybody? So if that's the case, then legitimately, this is a hell of a fucking shape. I'm gonna draw this out like a shape, okay? So you have, we know that the bond token is about roughly 1/3 of the peg token. Does that make sense? During normal operations, the bond token can't be more than 35%. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So like, if we were to draw that out, right? We'll just call this 2 bond here, and we'll call this 2 ohm, right? That makes sense, right? Now, I have no idea what the ratio of bigness of 2 share to 2 bond would be. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that it would be the size of both of these, right? So let's say 2 shares market cap would be a little bit bigger than 2 ohms. Would it? I don't fucking know, okay? Then we have this size, but then we know that Pyre Phantom has to be triple the size of 2 ohm, right? Right? And if that's the case, then Pyre Phantom has to be this size, and probably this size. Okay, there you go. That's easy. This is just a visual representation. Does anyone not understand this shape? Because I will admit that I'm jumping into concepts. I have learned recently that being an economics professor is not necessarily conducive to my job, but sometimes when I have a thought, the best thing to do is write it out. Does this shape make sense to you guys? Can you guys see it? Kind of? Can you guys see it? Okay. All right. Forgive me if I am I'm trying to be more of a storyteller and less of a professor. So okay, so if we know that like Pyre Phantom has to be this size, and let's say that Pyre Phantom is I know somebody said it was a 180x, but we could also say it's 100x because we don't know what the fuck price Phantom will be tomorrow. But anyways, for Pyre Phantom to go 100x right now, it would probably go to 10 million market cap. Is that correct? What's the market cap on it right now? Actually, I have no idea. Is it 100 grand or something? Less? More? 164, okay? Pyre Phantom has $164,000 as market cap. Do you guys see that? I don't actually know that's high or low at this point, but it'll get higher. Let's put it that way. If Pyre Phantom has to be this size, and let's say we're trying to go 100x the peg, $164,000 times 100. Does anybody know this math? Here, I never do mental math anymore. Just. Well, I don't do that either. Yep. So that's 16.4 million, right? Okay. By the way, it's actually more than 100, right? Because technically it's like 180. Whatever Alessio said yesterday, right? Whatever that number is, because it changes every day, right? But like, let's just round it to 100 because I think the difference between. Anyways, okay, you guys understand me, right? So that's 16.4 million. Now, granted, we don't know that Pyre AVAX and Pyre BNB are going to get to the same size, but they might if we get marketing going to the point where we saturate the user bases as well as launch the other forks. Does that make sense, everybody? Does it? If it doesn't make sense, you can say so. You can actually say, I don't understand. Or anything you want to signify that it doesn't make sense. Because I don't know what makes sense. Anyways, if this is 16.4 million, you could argue that maybe if you took the other, if these two things equal like 2/3 of it, let's say that would be, what's 2/3 of 16.4? It'd be like what, 5.45? 5.43? Okay, 5.46, I'm sorry. 5.46. So then I'll say 5.46 million is what one trio of these is worth. And fuck me. Okay.
One trio.
What that means is per chain, the market cap would be like 60 million. Okay, so it's about half. Okay, so it's about half of one. But to me, like this amount of volatility is, yes, all the above. when Phantom goes up, now it makes our TWAP look worse, but really it means there's more upside too, so it depends how you look at it. But if we eyeball it like this, that means the market cap of each chain would have to be 60 million. Does that make sense? Like at peg, at least on Phantom, the market cap should be 60 million or more. Does that kind of... I basically multiplied this number by 4. How about that? Sorry, no, I did not multiply by 4. The market cap would be 32 million. I'm sorry. You know what? I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is too speculative. But the point being here is that at peg, you would probably have enough market cap among these tokens, at least on one chain. You would be over 1/3 of the way to 100 million. Does that make sense? Do you guys at least see that right there? If we go to peg now, according to Alessio, it would be times 200. So this would be 32.4 million, right? Right? If we peg tomorrow, PYREPHANTOM would have a 32 million market cap? Yep, okay. Well, if PYREPHANTOM has a 32 million market cap, it probably means that each of the 3 tomb forks has around 1/3 of that. I don't even know how to divide that. That's that right there is a level of fundamental analysis we have not ascended to yet. But anyways, with learnpyreswap.com and doing the actual interviews and the actual storytelling and having a cold traffic funnel that works and a warm traffic funnel that works, I believe that this project will get to a 9-figure market cap. Sorry, 9-figure market cap across all the tokens. Not one, but across all of them. Does that make sense? That's speculation, okay? Okay, there you go. So 2 ohm at peg right now, which by the way, for 2 ohm to peg, it has to meet a couple times. Do we know how many times it has to meet? We don't know. But according to Alessio, it would be 7 million or a little under 7 million. If 2 ohm is at 7 million, perhaps 2 bond is at 2 million market cap, right? So in which case, 9 million. And then if we think that 2 share might be equal to both of them combined, that would mean 18 million total for 2 ohm finance. Speculatively. I actually... Yeah, I remember that part too because we burned. It's a really weird. It's a weird configuration, but anyways. There's really nothing to do but get back to work, huh? What I'm getting at is doing this the strong way and handling our market ourselves to the point where we can demonstrate enough fundamental analysis and give people enough epiphanies, we will be a 9-figure market cap project. Now, you've heard me say things like, we're going to go to a fucking billion, right? Right? Let's just say, for those of you who don't know, earlier this morning, I was in fact strategizing how perhaps a little bit later after learnpyreswap.com, I can leverage other tools available to me to, let's just say, scale past the 9-figure mark. Maybe that seems a little bit far-fetched to some of you. I guess the story of this project will reveal what happens next. Yeah, you know what? The whole 2 bond supply thing is pretty crazy. Over time, it'll just be fine. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know what to say other than it'll be fine. At the same time, when 2 ohm prints for the first time, I have no idea, because we have so much 2 bond. Yeah, 3.8 million. All right. So if we have 18, well, fuck me. Okay, so if you have it almost makes it seem like it should be this number times 4. And if it's actually 200x the peg, and this is 32 million, that means that the phantom side, PYRESWAP, will be a $132 million project at peg for all 3 peg coins at around 1. Does that make sense? I don't know, but I want you to know that we can definitely get there. I'm actually very excited to think that this would be $130 million at peg. That might be exactly what it needs to be too. How can you match share? Oh, Alessio, the only from historical things. Yeah. Only a fucking historical things. No. Nope. Because the share token is not going to go linear like peg will. Does that make sense? Yeah, it might. We actually looked at like the way D share would be valued, and I'm literally just eyeballing it completely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it could go 500x. Who fucking knows, right? Like, if we really hit our marketing goal, it'll be like there's a stampede of nonsense. Then you have to have this like market discovery period, right? Then, Alessio, consider that you guys nostalgically love Phantom and 2 share. So seeing 2 ohm at peg might resurrect all the fucking Tomb Fork zombies who will come to just bask in the light of the resurrection of their god. You have no idea what will happen. Again, that would be the biggest paradigm shift of all. But I just think that, okay, let's put it this way, Alessio. I think that if you have 2 shares and they're staked in the boardroom, and the boardroom shows like a 2% daily print or something like that, right? Let's say the price gravitates around that. It sort of implies that the market cap of 2 share could be, in theory, it kind of implies that the market cap of the share token can be 3 times that of the. Let me write this out actually. Let me actually fucking. Okay, so Alessio, what was the number for 2 ohms market cap at peg? What was the number for 2 ohms market cap at peg? 7 million? 6.9? What is right? Okay, 7 million. So 2 ohm at 1.01 equals 7 million. Does everybody agree? Okay, I'm gonna make it 7 because it's just easier to round. If the 2 share boardroom, right? So let's say that it shows a 2% daily, right? 2% DPR, right? Make sense? So if it shows 2% daily, and we're actually talking about the fucking, the total supply of 2 ohm, right? So if we're going to take 7 million, 7,000,000 times 0.0, we'll just make it 2 to be fucking easy. This would be $140,000 a day. Does that make sense?
0.02 is 20%. I know. 0.02 is 2%.
Okay, yeah. And they'll check my math too. They don't fucking let me. They don't let me get as I'm doing this math live, there's just 7 other guys just like hammering into the fucking. Yeah. 140K. Yep, 140K, right? So Alessio, if the token is getting 140% based on what's staked, if we assume all 2 share is staked, so it's like 70,000 2 share staked, right? And hilariously, it's printing $140,000 a day, right? And this is 2% of that. And if you want to make it look like the token, okay, if you want to make it look like 2 shares, like valuation is like 700% APR, right? Hang on a second. Doesn't that just become the same exact number? We're doing something wrong. I think what's wrong is that I'm swapping epochs for dailies. We're looking for what the market cap of 2Share would be in like on like whiteboard conditions for when 2 ohms at peg. Yeah, let's assume that 70,000 2Share staked, all of it's staked. Let's just assume. And if we assume that the boardroom is just going to dump out $140,000 a day at peg, it doesn't always print, right? So that's like another thing too. But if it's showing a 2% daily, meaning like the value of the share token, and like having all of it staked is also like being conservative. That means that okay, if you have 140,000, fuck man. I remember writing this out in chat like, I don't know, a year ago. Two ohm a day for share. This is $140,000 though. Okay, are you rounding it to $1? Yeah, you're right. Hang on. So two ohm a day is worth $700. Okay, two ohm a day. If we make that, how much is that? 2 ohm is worth. Sorry, Phantom's worth $1.27, right? So if we have $3 a day, 3 times 365, right? That's 1,095. And if we do 1,095 divided by 7, that means that 2 shares should be $156 each. If all of them are staked. So if all of them are staked, 2 shares should be $156 at peg. If half of them are staked, 2 share will be $300 at peg. Do you guys understand? This is actually also fundamental analysis, so I'm actually okay with the fact that we're doing this right now. Do you guys understand? This is definitely like the upper echelon of the FA in the GPSC. The change in price of the share token, because based on it's gonna be based on the valuation. Oh, see, basically, if 70,000 2 share are staked, it's getting divided among 70,000. But if half of them are staked, that half is getting all of the print. So if less of it is staked, each one is worth more. Does that make sense? Now, granted, back in the day, the only reason they weren't staked is because they were in farm. Does that make sense? Or they weren't emitted yet. Granted, we're going to have them in liquidity as well, but we just can't really predict how many will be staked or how many won't be. But the way we can do that is we just model for 100% staked, 50% staked, and like 25% staked, or 10%. You know what I mean? That way you'll have like three numbers. You could do 90, 50, and 10. Does that make sense to you guys? I think 90, 50, and 10 would be 3 good numbers to model for. 90% of 2 share staked, 50% of 2 share staked, and 10% of 2 share staked. Because that way you have the range of values for what 2 share would be. $1.63 2 ohm per 2 share equals $1.97. What? Why would 2 share be $1.97? It's $1.97. Okay, 2 share is not valued based on one print of 2 ohm. Yeah, correct. I did $2 and what I do. Okay, if it's $1.97 times 365, right? Okay, let's do the math again. Okay, $1.97 times 365 equals 719. Okay, then if we divide that by 700, which is the number I was doing before for like APR, that would be 102. It's probably $102. That's probably what I think the math would be. Yeah, okay, $100, yeah. Yeah, so I said $102. Okay, there you go. And of course, that's with all 70,000 staked, Alessio. All 70,000. Okay, so there he goes. According to Alessio's math, it would be $100, around $100 at all of them staked, probably around $200 for half of them staked. Does that make sense to you guys? What the shares are backed by electronic is the amount of perceived yield from them being staked in the boardroom. That's how they end up getting valued. Electronic, it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. In fact, the Senorage Circus turns 3 years old next month, which is pretty crazy for me to say out loud. I feel old saying that. But I don't feel like I'm uncommitted from saying that. Yeah, it is a seigniorage. It is seigniorage. Yeah, so legitimately the yield is based on like, yeah. Electronic, you're completely correct. And since we're actually going on the whole fundamental analysis thing, I would tell you this, Electronic, the newcomers aren't going to ask these questions. Yeah, actually, because like the newcomers are going to be busy learning about PYRESWAP. So then when the fucking peg tokens just go up, that's not even going to be on their radar so much, right? Unless you guys make it on their radar. Does that make sense? And then when the numbers when they go to peg, people are going to be freaking out and doing whatever they want anyway. So like, as far as having these sit down conversations of FA of what 2Share would be at peg, I say we just go fucking find out. Does that make sense? Because honestly, Electronic, I would rather just tell them about Pyre Phantom's return. Does that make sense? Because if you talk about Pyre Phantom's return, you end up repegging 2-ohm anyway. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? And then like, you guys, or should I say, whoever wants to talk about share coin valuation can go do it in the Discord servers where you have share coins. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand? In the future, it is my goal that we don't really talk about share coin valuation in this Discord. We have other Discords for that. Does that make sense? But yes, I will, by the way, I will in the future very likely either do all this shit out in the documentation. So in the Tomb Fork documentation, I will likely do all this shit out like 10%, 50%, 90%. I will do it like at the coyest level of formality, okay? And I'll also make a video. I'll do it on a video too. Not for marketing material. Not for marketing material, right? You do it once they've seen 10 marketing videos where you tell them stories. Does that make sense? So like that's the quota now. Like before they hear any economics or finance, they gotta hear 10 fucking soap opera stories. Like gasped in Spanish, right? So we actually don't know, but here's what I do know. The share coin valuation will be higher the more marketing we do as well. Wouldn't you guys agree? Wouldn't you guys agree that share coin valuation in theory can be even higher if we market the shit ton out of this? Right? Because eventually we'll be marketing the Tomb Forks all the time as well. Literally on separate channels. Does that make sense? Like, so while we're doing, like, PYRESWAP marketing will continue while the fucking 2-ohm marketing is. Does that make sense? It'll be like two separate things going off simultaneously. Does that make sense? Arguably 2-ohm, 3-ohm, and Z-ohm will kind of be in a trifecta, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? Like legitimately like separate communities. By the way, guys, you can go and look in the other server, and there's guys that are in there that still don't come to this server, and that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Because like, by all means, that's an okay riff to have. Like that is, if you've heard me talk about the cow catcher before, that is necessary. In order for me to serve those guys, I need to put witches on the other side of the scale. So we're gonna go do that. We're gonna go do that. Does anybody have any questions? What a good refresher on the fundamental analysis of share coin valuation. But, you know, when it comes to crypto, you never know what the fuck things are going to be, you know? Like, there was no reason for 2Share to be $8,000 at one point either, right? But like the storyline, right? Isn't it great that the 2-ohm and 2Share storyline continued past all of that and they're still kind of going and now we're here? Like, if you think the PYRESWAP story is pretty crazy, think about like the 2-ohm story and then it becomes the PYRESWAP story. You could do an entire documentary series about some of this stuff. You know what I mean? And more people will watch it if we get back to Peg, right? So we should get back to Peg, right? All right. If word not allowed here.
Oh, look at Alessio on the positive side today.
Oh, we mean what, the Peg word? Well, arguably, Alessio, people will still say that for the Witch Vault going arcane and stuff like that. Oh, if, yeah. Well done, Alessio. Yes, very, very yes. When we get back to Peg. By the way, Alessio, and I'll just say this to you because hang on, let me see who else is in the audience today. Trigger Happy, Dr. Mac, and Pega, they all watched me on screen share dangle. They watched me dangle proof that I have the ability to probably not December, probably not January, but maybe February timeline actually set off a marketing nuclear weapon. Okay? The allegorical version of a marketing nuclear weapon. Because some of you guys know that I'm involved with this other crypto project too. Well, it's not really a crypto project. It's a non-profit organization. Do you guys know about this non-profit that I'm the executive director of? Do you guys know about this? It's even more confusing than PYRESWAP tokenomics. I'll tell you that. But ish is fine. Ish is fine. Cars for kids, not a different one. But anyways, this particular project allows me to have input on the social media of a public figure that is no longer with us. And because of the stuff that I've been studying concerning marketing and advertising, just over the last month or two, I have finally figured out how I can leverage this public figure to promote PYRESWAP. I just figured that out this morning, like less than 12 hours ago. Yeah. And that right there, what I'm talking about here is like, you guys saw me talk about getting to 100 million market cap, right? Electronic. Yeah, by the way, that was definitely a scam ass project. I looked at that chart like a week later. Would you not agree? That was not me. Hell no. I don't have time to do that. Electronic. I'm 100,000% on PYRESWAP. Yeah. Oh, you did? Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, Alessio. Not December, not January, but like February, March, which by the way, we might not even need it at that point, but February, March, I will have the gun that can get us from 100 million market cap to 1 billion market cap if we play it right. Does that make sense? So right now, I'm going to focus on getting us to 100 million, which is just doing the marketing that the Senorita Circus is gonna control and PYRESWAP's going to control. Then we can lean on the other leg once we have moved from weakness to strength. Does that make sense? But yeah, I'm really glad that I get to show that stuff because I think people forget that. I know it comes off psychopathic, but PYRESWAP has to be strong enough to stand on its own legs. So like you have to be hard on your own creation, kind of like it's your child. Do you guys understand this? Like if PYRESWAP is my child, I love my child, but my child can't be weak because I am not doing a good job as its father. Do you guys understand? Do you guys understand me allegorically here? I know that you guys are PYRESWAP investors. Don't worry. This is going to be the strongest DApp anyone's ever heard of. Do you guys understand what I mean about the allegory of being hard on my child to make sure that they're strong? I really don't know if you guys know what I mean. All right. I'm not saying that I'm going to put cigarettes out on my child's neck and hit it with the buckle of the belt. But I'm saying that I want my child to grow past the point of ever needing me again. And in order for it to do that, it's got to be pretty strong. I want you guys to understand that it's very poetic that we arrived at a at a moment where we realize that the storytelling is one of the best parts of this project, and the storytelling is also what's going to save it. Because I don't think you've ever heard of a fucking crypto project that has this type of fucking plot line. Like starting off from forgiving and Matrix Money with 2 ohm, literally like that was January 5th of 2022 or whatever. Yeah, like, do you guys know what I mean? Like, think about like the whole cast of characters and like the whole plot line and all of these things. It's just so much. I think later on in 2025 we can really do the total time. I think when we repeg 2 ohm, we should work on this like documentary. I'll get Lorenzo to be in it too. You guys know what I mean? Lorenzo CT. So I'll get Lorenzo to tell the story about, the first half of, you guys know what I mean? Maybe I'll get Harry Ye to be in it too, Wouldn't that be something? Anyways, guys, thank you for coming to the PYRESWAP show. I didn't expect to go here today's show, but I kind of like how it ended up. Do you guys prefer if I wear costumes? Did you guys, was the wizard costume something that you guys really like identify with? Like, is this like, does this hat make you guys more bullish? Are you guys less sad when I wear a hat with stars on it? Do you think a loser would wear a hat like this? Look at me. This is what a winner looks like. Are we clear? All right. If it comes with bullish news. Well, Seabiscuit, this hat only goes up. Do you see that right there? This hat only goes up. Okay? I don't know how much symbolism you need. All right. It's funny. Other people have been saying that too. All right, everybody. Sorry, I'm looking at the delayed version of me staring into the camera. I hope you turned that into a sticker, Alessio. I hope you really got that. Did you get me? Alessio, did you get that sticker?
If not, I'll help him.
Okay, the producer also wants to turn that into a sticker. Me leaning across the desk. Do you have, okay, well, if you don't have the one where it's like me leaning across like this and saying, this is what a winner looks like, I don't know if it's as good. Yeah. But anyways, I don't know if I told you guys this. On learnpyreswap.com, I'm going to start off wearing a fucking blazer, and as we go through the videos, I slowly shift costume and become a wizard. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for coming to the PYRESWAP show. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We're going to the fucking moon. This is, again, a mega dApp in the world's first decentralized credit union. Goodbye.